Welcome results enthusiasts. Today we're going to go over and introduce to you guys the idea of foam rolling or self-myofascial release. What is it? Why do we do it? How does it help our body? So basically we have a couple different rolls of foam here. We're going to work and start to manipulate and massage throughout the body. We do this to increase blood flow. We do this to increase range of motion. We do this to release any sort of knots or adhesions between our muscles and the connective tissues, the myofascia. So today we'll have a chance to introduce those ideas to you and get you a little more familiar with how to do it and where to do it, what to look out for, what not to do. So why do we foam roll? It's a huge component of recovery. Ongoing, we can foam roll to recover from sore, tight, tired muscles. We can foam roll to warm up. It's a great way to bring the full life back to those muscles, to those ranges of movement, and make sure that we are able to continue on from activity day to day.
Upper back and thoracic spine.
Thoracic spine, we'll start just below the shoulder blades. Cross hands over the chest and hold hands behind the ears. Main thing, we have a supported neck and we're not putting too much pressure on our upper neck. From here, we'll pick up the hips off the ground and work slowly on the bottom of the shoulder blades. Inch our way up towards the base of the neck and shoulder area. Once we make our way towards the top, follow that same path back down to the bottom of the shoulder blades.
Latissimus dorsi.
So with the muscle that we commonly call our lats, it's a big muscle group, the biggest in the upper body. Starts down below the ribs here and finishes up through the bottom of the armpit. We'll have two different angles that we go through. First one, start with the belly button up towards the ceiling. We'll start just above the lower back area. Again, we can go hands on chest, hands on head. Think about this back one dragging behind you. We'll work our way up towards the top of that muscle where it does insert through the shoulder blade and into the armpit. Once we complete that distance, return back to the start point. Second angle of the lats. We're going to go from belly button up towards the ceiling, towards an angled. Now we're going to get towards belly button out to the corner of the room. Same thing, dragging that arm behind you. Now we're going to roll directly into the armpit. Take your time going through any sore, tender, or tight spots. Remember to keep breathing. This can be a pretty uncomfortable movement. And once you've got the full distance of the muscle, work your way back through to the start point and origin of the muscle.
Repeat for both your left and your right side. Glutes and piriformis.
So the glutes now are the biggest muscles in the entire body, the lower body and the entire body. So spend some time here. Glutes, again, we'll shift off to one side at a time. We're going to focus on one big muscle here. If we think about our sit bones, I'm directly on the top of the foam roller. I'm going to start to roll myself out forward. Getting out slowly out towards what we call our waistline. Once we hit that waistline, go ahead and return back through the start point. Piriformis, kind of include that outside corner. We're going to angle body slightly out towards that same hip. Pick that leg up and follow that same path from the sit bones up again in towards that waistline. Spend some time on that, working slowly through it. Continue to breathe if you find any sore, tight, or tender spots. Spend a little more time on that area. Turn your seat bones. And repeat the same thing on the other side.
Hamstrings.
The hamstrings pick up where the glutes left off. So we'll start again, positioned off towards one side. Seated, sit bones directly on top of the foam roller. And we're going to lay one leg out and follow down. Hamstring originates in the hips and insert down near back of the knee. You can see I'm walking my hand back to get the full length of that muscle. Finding a little more challenge, a little more pressure, I can go ahead and weight down with this other leg on top of it and follow back through towards my origin. Finish it on the sequence.
Hip flexors.
Hip flexors, we'll get into the fronts of the hips here, kind of the crease or the fold of the hips. So we're going to start by placing pressure down on towards that. We're going to lay directly onto that area. With the other leg, we'll kind of help and assist by getting that out, bend forward, aside the foam roller here. So I'll lower myself down onto it. And I can use my hands to steer, feet to steer and adjust pressure. And work down in towards the quadricep and back up through the top of the hip. You can also start to roll the body slightly to adjust the angles and have full coverage for those muscles. So we've gotten that.
Quadriceps.
Quadriceps are going to pick up where the hip flexors left off. So we use that same technique of one leg aside to assist. Start up top in the crease of the hips. And now we're going to work our way down, crawling it out towards the top of the knee. So take your time to roll the full length of that muscle. And follow back through towards the starting point.
Hip adductors.
The hip adductors are responsible for squeezing of the legs, bringing back towards our midline. So we're going to work some of the inner thigh here. The way we get onto this one, we're going to start out kind of side saddle to our foam roller here. I'm going to place that down onto the inner thigh. Now this knee will stay bent, and I'll roll from hip region. Follow that muscle on down through towards the inner of the knee. And again, back down through that. Length of the muscle in towards the origin near the hips.
Iliotibial band.
So what we call the IT band is a big, thick connective tissue going from our lateral of the knee to the lateral of the hip. We'll spend a little time working the length of that muscle. So what we'll do is we'll lean out towards one side. We're going to rotate the body just a bit here. I'm pointing belly button towards the corner of the room. With this foot, we can stay behind. If we want a little more pressure, cross that over. We'll find a very tender line here of connective tissues. Starting from the hip, working our way down towards the knee. This is probably the most uncomfortable foam rolling that we'll come across. Very tender, very tight. So work your way slowly through it. You guys will know exactly where that band is. And personally, I will either stay behind that band, as I'm doing right now, or I will go in front of that band by pointing my belly button down towards the floor. I'll never point my belly button towards the wall. That would be full pressure, very uncomfortable. If you so need it, belly button towards the wall would be our most intense pressure here. Lead that through, roll back up to our hip and starting point.
Gastrocnemius soleus.
So we have two muscles that work near each other. Gastrocnemius would be the belly of the calf here. Soleus would extend down below that. So we can work those two nearby each other. Again, I'll always start out on one side here, just behind the knee, and picking body up. I'm going to use my leg to assist in this rolling. Hips off the ground. This will be the length of my gastroc, just behind the knee towards about mid-calf. mid-shin. Again, if I want to increase pressure, I could go ahead and weight it with the other leg. Use a little more upper body strength to roll that distance. So we've got a good spot there. Working down from mid-calf towards the ankle would include our soleus.